Yo, what's up, witches? I decided to film an impromptu video because I've been wanting to just make a quick one talking about the basics of giving offerings indoors because for me, I have my own house where I can have indoor altars set up, and so I know, especially with a lot of pagan practices. Ideally, you want to give a lot of things outdoors in nature and give back to nature, and that's definitely one of the best and easiest places to connect with deities as well. But I wanted to show you just a quick, like, 101 showing you how to give indoor offerings and then what to do with them afterwards. Because the timing just ended up being right. I have a lot of stuff that I've been giving indoors on the altars here behind me that it's time to dispose of, so I'm just gonna show you how I do that. So the first thing actually is here in this little cup is just some moon water that I gave Freya after the last time that I kind of cleaned up and straightened up the altars a little bit. And so with something like water like that, hey, look, I have a plant right here. Let's just water the plant with it. Done. And for me, when it comes to indoor offerings, how long I keep them on the altar really just depends on, what time of year is it, how hot is it, how many bugs are there in my house, which right now in like the height of summer is a lot. So I don't usually let things like fruit or meat or things like that that are going to attract gnats and flies and whatnot sit for more than a day or two at most, sometimes sooner. Because yeah, you don't want stuff to just be going bad on your altar. It's not very respectful to the gods, and it's just nasty. Nobody wants that. So and I'm the first one to admit that I, kind of have a little bit of like ADD brain going on. I can just be very forgetful at times. We get wrapped up in the day-to-days of life, and I have, let some things sit for longer than I should have. It happens. Just, make your apologies, clean it up, and do better next time. That's all we can do. But I have some things that it's time to get rid of, and so yeah, let's go into the kitchen. Alright, here it is. The unglamorous side of YouTube slash my house. I need to just get like some type of container to keep compostable materials in my kitchen, but for now I just kind of leave things here until I have enough accumulated to go out to either the outdoor altar, depending on how, intact it still is. Like this peach will probably go on the outdoor altar because it's still whole. It's not, going bad yet. So that will go on the outdoor altar for the land vatir. Same probably with these aloe leaves that I cut from my little aloe plant as an offering to Freya, Air, and the handmaidens for some healing. There's just been some people in the community in need of some healing thoughts and prayers lately, as well as my cat Merlin got a little like bite wound or something that got infected. So long story short, he made a little trip to the emergency vet last week. So there were many entreaties to the goddesses for healing on his behalf, and it's only been about 2 days since then, and he is definitely almost all the way healed up now, so that's good. And then I just have some carrots that were starting to kind of go bad, and so those will probably just go out onto the compost pile. So for me, yeah, usually what I'll do is once the offerings have kind of, their essence has been used up, it just either it seems like the gods have taken what they're going to take from it, and or the food and the offering itself is just kind of starting to turn, that's when I will either carry it outdoors to the outdoor altar or the compost pile. So let's go out there, and then I thought while we were out there I would take you just on a little like vlog tour update of my crazy out of control garden. Alright, we're outside in my crazy overgrown backyard. I'm gonna take these carrots and then probably the cut open moldy peach to the compost pile, and then the rest is gonna go in the outdoor altar. Oh look, there's a little bee. Hi bee friends. Alright, so it's hard to see it right now, but under here, under all this grassy and overgrowth, oh, and some little morning glories, something. Yeah, this is the compost pile. You always get this weird, like, birdberry plant that grows up in it, and I don't know how to eradicate that, as well as this, vine thing. I don't know what that is either, but it has been trying to take over this whole side of my backyard for a while now. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave this peachy guy under here, and then usually I'll use stuff from this to fill my containers for the container garden, because we just grow tomatoes in old 5-gallon buckets, which seems to work pretty well. So here is the little fairy tree or hell tree. I kind of use the terms interchangeably. When we first moved in, I've always thought of this little flowering tree as a fairy tree, and have been trying to entice the fairies to come back and live in it. And now I also kind of think of it as a hell tree. So I will also sometimes give offerings to hell out here too, as well as land spirits, because yeah, it's like half alive and half dead. Kind of has a little fairy door at the bottom of it here. So this is where I will come. I did have this like old plank here originally as like an informal little altar space. And so usually, yeah, if I have some fruit or bread or something that's maybe just a little stale or hasn't quite gone yet, I will leave it here for the land spirits. So, and I usually like to kind of arrange things nicely. So we'll do that, and we'll give these little flowers back. These were on the Freya altar, and because I found them growing here, as you can see. I didn't know what they were at first, and then I found out from someone in the Discord, actually, that they are called resurrection lilies or surprise lilies because the foliage grows up in the early spring and then dies back, and then the flowers shoot up all of a sudden out of nowhere later on in the summer, so now. So I was wondering why all of a sudden, like just driving around town, I was seeing them everywhere too. So this is the time of year when the flowers will spring up and bloom, so they're called resurrection lilies, which I thought was very appropriate for what I call the hell tree. Let's go see how my garden is doing. But before that, check out this fat-ass cicada shell. These things creep me the fuck out, but I know someone's gonna want it for something, so we'll collect it in a jar. Just taking things. So this is what happens when you're gardening with the Vanier for the first time. This is not my garden bed, just FYI. This is my garden bed. We have really good soil back here, but it's quite rocky. And I've just been laying old cardboard out here to kind of kill off some of the grass in patches where we want to grow stuff. Oh man, looks like my zucchinis could use some watering. For sure. I did have some onions over here. I don't think they took off this year at all. And then somewhere over here is potatoes as well, which it looks like the potatoes have died back, and so I'll have to go digging for those. But yeah, this was my one zucchini plant that I planted this year because I didn't want a crap ton of zucchini, and it like branched off into two separate vines. So I still kind of got like double the zucchini, which is funny. And then this is my little cucumber vine. It's looking a little scraggly now as well. I think, yeah, we're kind of in the mid-August now, so might be a little bit past the peak production for the zucchini and the summer squash. But as you can see here, these are my little baby fall squash. So hopefully global warming will be on my side this year, and we'll get a nice long warm autumn, and I will be able to grow and harvest some fall and winter squash for the first time. This is some butternut squash. These two right here. This is my little spaghetti squash. I love spaghetti squash. It's actually, yeah, not a bad substitute for pasta if you're doing the whole like low carb thing. Where's my other little guy? Oh, is he getting devoured over here? Oh my god, he is. That's not cool. Oh yeah, we got like a whole ass ant colony over here, so I'll show you guys my little remedy for that. Oh no, my little squashos. I guess this is it. Ugh, poor guy. Got totally devoured. Oh yeah, and then we have this thing that I did not know what it was at first. I couldn't figure out what this was, because I didn't plant anything over here. Like I said, this is not my garden bed. And I was like, well, it looks kind of like a zucchini with the big broad leaves and the big yellow flowers, but it wasn't exactly like a zucchini. And it wasn't growing any zucchini, and I thought maybe it's a melon. Because I did at one point grow like mini cantaloupe melons kind of over here in this end of the garden bed, and maybe it's that springing back up. Turns out last year's jack-o'-lantern is growing me my own mini pumpkin patch in my backyard. Here's my banana plant that I got from my dad last winter. Definitely in his element out here this summer. Like I said, we grow all our tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets. They're doing really good this year. These are Roma tomatoes. And then these are just some kind of like regular heirloom tomato. Tomatoes, as far as I'm concerned, are a condiment. I don't just eat a lot of them plain or on sandwiches. This is random. I don't know if this will end up in a future vlog or not, but I'm kind of really excited that I just got my latest box of snacks from Thrive Market. I found out about this through Taylor Wynn's channel, which she's not like witchcraft related at all, but I love her and her content. And she always recommends the best products, and I really trust everything that she's used and tried out on her own channel so far. And so I signed up for a subscription to Thrive Market so that I could start ordering myself healthy snacks to munch on instead of the junk food that I normally always eat. So I just figured I would show you guys what I got. So first up, I have these cheddar cheese whisks, like crispy cheese crackers. And I like crackers, but I'm trying to get back on my whole gluten-free thing. Most gluten-free crackers that I found aren't the greatest. Hi, Loki. Loki's gonna help. Loki's gonna help unpack this box. Yeah, all this stuff is in your way. Make yourself at home. Well, while he unpacks that side, I got some teriyaki flavored roasted seaweed strips to munch on. And some like Korean barbecue flavored. These are really good. To all the fellow pagans who were at the North Central Midsummer and like nommed the seaweed snacks that I brought, these are even better than those. Then I got some pepperoni crisps, which is also just kind of like dehydrated, crispy pepperoni crackers, and those are really good. So those plus the cheese crackers will make a nice little gluten-free snack. I got some basically corn nuts, but you know, quote-unquote healthy version, because I do like those a lot too. And then what else do I got here? Some rice noodle ramen, because I love ramen, but even more than that, I love rice noodles. So this is rice noodle ramen and miso. Let's see, I got a giant bottle of Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile soap. I love this for dishes, cleaning makeup brushes, washing your hands. It's an oil-based soap, so it's really good at like getting off other oil-based things like grease stains. And the peppermint smell is just really nice for those days when maybe you let things sit in the sink for too long and their dishes situation is getting a little grody, a little nasty, a little smelly. The peppermint just cuts through all of the odors, which is nice. So yeah, definitely highly recommend that as a just everyday cleaning product. I use it for everything. And life hack, if you mix just a little bit of this in water, you can spray it on your plants to deter insects, and it doesn't hurt the plants. So I like to use it for that too. If I'd had it the other day, I would have sprayed that all over the ant colony growing in my squash. This is me with my crazy hair, home on my lunch break, and yeah, I just wanted to show you what I ordered, and yeah, maybe we'll just throw this in a little day in the life vlog here at some point, but see you later. Now, when it comes to other liquid offerings besides water, it depends on what it is, how I will dispose of it. In my drinking horns here, I have some couple days old mead. Normally I will just carry it right outside and dump it on the ground. I know that sometimes I don't know how good alcohol is for the soil. So usually I'll try to come out here if I have the time and pour it on my fire pit. What's going on later? If I can't really get like all the way out there or don't feel like it or like not appropriately dressed, what have you, sometimes I'll just dump it out here in this little rock patch, what used to be a landscaping bed and is now a weed bed. And then I'll be honest, other days, you know, if it's like raining or I just don't have the time or energy to walk all the way out to the backyard and dump out liquid, it goes down the drain. I mean, like I said, I try and dispose of my offerings as respectfully as possible while still being a practical modern pagan. Because, yeah, let's be real. Who has time for that all the time? I sure don't. And not to mention, we're all just trying to live our lives here in the modern world. More often than not, especially with like the food, I don't want to just be wasteful of food, so I will always try to dispose of that in the compost heap or the land spirits. But yeah, when it comes to alcohol or liquid, it's not really giving anything back to the earth, so I don't think it's too terribly respectful to just dispose of it as you would your own beverage whenever the gods have had their fill of it. So that about does it as far as just a quick little rundown of just how to give offerings indoors in your home and how to properly dispose of them when you're done. Long story short, just don't let stuff sit on your altar for days on end. Don't be like me. Stay on top of it. Just keep it respectful. Intent is everything. You know, with the gods, it sounds cheesy, but it really is the thought that counts. Sorry about my shaky cam here. I don't have my tripod. I'm just wrapping up this video here after showing you how I dispose of like the liquid offerings that I had set out. And I hope this was helpful to you guys. And until the next one, stay classy, pagans.